What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're doing part 2 on the VIP LEXUS LS400 build. It's another late day here at the shop, but we got it up on the lift, and today we're either going to tackle the front engine spacers and transmission spacers, which aren't too hard to do from what I've heard, or we're going to attempt to drop the rear subframe and get that ready to be fabricated on. Like I said in the previous video, what we have to do for the rear subframe is we have to raise the rear diff, and we also have to notch the subframe for where the axles would bind when the car is super low on the ground. So now that we have the car in the air, it's easier to explain. Basically, right where the diff is mounted right here, you have to take this mounting portion and cut it off here. Same thing on the front, cut it here. Raise it so that the diff, as you can see, is the lowest part of the car. We don't want that. So we need the diff to sit higher, at least at the same height as the subframe, to minimize if this car is going to be as low as I want it to be, not rubbing through my diff and destroying the drivetrain of this car. Back of the exhaust off was pretty easy. We're gonna bring her down and see how she sounds with 4 less mufflers. All right, Adam's hopping in. Here's a little V8 purr. No. You give her a little. It's really quiet. No.
Wait, did you know this was a V8?
Yeah.
Sure?
Did you know it was a V8? We're leaving it like this.
Alright.
Alright, so I got the back seats out. They put the top hats for the struts in a really dumb spot. Same place as JZX 100s, but it's right basically behind the seat on the back cover. So I'm gonna zip the bolts off for the top hats, and that'll get us started for the rear subframe. All right, now I'm just removing the drive shaft. Little update on stuff. I just got the e-brake lines disconnected right here, so those can come down with the subframe. We're gonna do the brake lines, and we'll get this off. I think once the brake lines are done, then this is done, and this can actually just come down, which is sick. But Marco's here. What's up, dude? So we're also gonna try and tackle the front. We're not gonna do the subframe. We're just going to do the engine and transmission raise. I have a little kit here that I bought. I think it's called Dayton 1. It's basically little engine spacers that have a notch on the sides. You would loosen the engine mount enough to slip this in, and then you would just tighten it right back up. So it's pretty simple. It also comes with little ones for the transmission mount. So this will raise my engine and transmission about 1 centimeter, which will be perfect for what we need. And in the future, if I need to do the front subframe notch, I can. It's just a little more than we want to handle right now. And we're kind of on a time crunch for getting this car notched and slammed and stuff, because FD's in like a week and a half, and
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna friggin' do it, dude. Right, so we have this little jack here. We lifted it up, and you can see there's a gap between the mount and the subframe, which is working perfectly for what we need. And we basically just take that spacer, we slip it in between the stud and the mount, just like this.
If you can see, there's like a little nub on the side
yeah,
there,
I do
so
see
you'll
that.
probably have to angle it in from the outside.
Yeah.
Like so. And then
That's easy.
should.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So it's a problem because every time you and I work on a car together so far, we're like 2 for 2. It's going really easy.
I know.
And I'm worried that it'll develop good karma, and then I'll go to work on my car, and all the bad karma will come. So
I apologize in advance if that ever happens to you. You know who to call.
yeah,
But
an angry letter.
I know. So the driver's side one is in now too. The engine is raised officially, so that's rad. We just have to put the nuts back on, and then I think we just take this little pan off that's right here, and then that's for the transmission mount. The light is getting covered by camera, and we'll do that. Just realized this when he raised the little jack here. It also raised the exhaust up quite a bit. I'm still gonna have to redo the exhaust from ow. I just wailed my head on this.
They bite back, bro.
I'm gonna have to eventually redo the exhaust, probably get new cats and stuff, because this is the lowest part of the car now, at least for the front, and I will 100% drag through this, so that'll have to get swapped out. But for now, how are these coming in?
Like really easy.
Oh yeah, I see them in there already.
Sick of this.
You guys can kind of see the spacers right there. Really, really easy. And they just slip right in and tighten it back up. So.
Yeah, if you want to work on your car and have a good time, don't buy these parts. You know, like,
don't actually do this.
yeah,
Just
it's really enjoyable and stress-free. And
we spoke too soon, huh?
we goofed.
So we got everything pretty much done, and we are going to tighten everything, and the bolt for the motor mount on the driver's side is free spinning, and there is no way to get in there to tighten it from the top or hold it down from the top, so it's just kind of spinning in there. All right, so it's another late night. It's like midnight. Decided to call it for right now. We got the engine and transmission spacers in, and the exhaust is off, e-brake lines are off, and struts are undone and all that stuff. So we're gonna do the subframe tomorrow, but I think we got some good progress done today for sure. At this point, I think the entire front of the car is done and ready to be dropped. The back is just the last part, and also the biggest part of this whole project. So be cool. All right, so it is the next day, and we are trying to get the rear subframe out today. So yesterday we forgot this little guy, so we couldn't take the rear wheels off, but we were able to bring it today. We got the rear wheels off. I disconnected both calipers. Yes, I'm letting them hang. It's not a big deal. These calipers are not heavy. After that, I went around and disconnected the, I believe it's ABS lines. They go all the way back up into the chassis here, and they snaked all the way through past the sway bars, through the control arms, over the upper control arms. So I had to disconnect that, get that all out of the way, and I think that we're ready to drop this thing. Also, before I forget, I wanted to mention that we're almost at 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. And my goal for 2020 was to hit 100K by the end of the year, and it looks like if we stick on track, we're going to be hitting it quite sooner than that. And I'm still like mind blown about the whole thing. That's been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've had this YouTube account for 7 years now, and then I've had previous accounts for years before that. So it's definitely a really big deal to me, and I want to thank all of you guys for subscribing and staying tuned for all the stuff that we do. I think we're gonna do a Ace Hardware run, get some stuff, and then when we come back, we're gonna drop this thing. I'll pick her up. All right.
I've never done this before.
First time for both of us.
Thank you for having confidence in me, Michael.
Thank you for not letting me do this by myself.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You kind of did the annoying part.
I know. So when I took the strut hat, the top hat bolts off, I only took the nuts off that held the cap on, because apparently they need 3 nuts for the cap and then 3 nuts for the top hat. So that was what was holding us up. But we're done. Subframe is out. I'm gonna slowly lower this mamma jamma down. That's it.
I don't like that you don't have your hand on. All right, there you go.
There we go. Hands
We
here.
got a very nice Mustang next to it that's only worked on once. This seems like a lot of work just to change coilovers.
All right, subframe is out. I think we're gonna call it for tonight. Tomorrow, Marco's gonna come by again and we're gonna get to welding this thing, which I'm super stoked about. As you can see, now that it's out of the car, it's a lot easier to understand what we gotta do. And when Marco's here tomorrow, we'll both go over everything and show exactly what needs to be done. All right, it is subframe day. Marco just came by. It is time to get into this. But before we get into it, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Logan Lamb and his YouTube channel, Octane and Zip Ties. Without his channel, I don't think that we would really know how to go about doing this the proper way. If you want to check out how he did his LS400, I'll leave a link in the description. He's been a big help, and being able to watch his video before doing this has given us a lot of insight on the proper way to do things. I don't think we're going to do it exactly the same way, but we're going to do some of it the exact same way. So thank you, Logan. I appreciate it, man. And we're getting into it. So what was your idea for this side?
So what we did is we got the whole thing out of the car, obviously, or you guys did.
Yeah.
I kind of just showed up with the easy part. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the bottom of the subframe versus the bottom of the diff.
So you can see down here the diff is about 1.5 inches.
It's about 1 inch, but we're going to take away about 1.5 inches just to give ourselves a little leeway, I guess.
Right.
Things to look out for if raising it too high would be there's a little bit of clearance with the bottom of the car.
Right.
Just trying to make sure everything fit good, but
yeah,
not bite off more than you want to chew necessarily.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess my plan is to cut these brackets where the diff bolts up.
Yeah.
Measuring from about here where I'm about to cut it, taking like 1.5 inches out, I'm going to cut it again.
Yeah.
And then we'll butt everything up, tack it, move on to the back, cut basically the same thing along the seam, and then just space it up 1.5 inches and make another piece of sheet metal or something, and go from there. It's kind of the game plan. Well, I mean, we'll see how it comes out on the execution, but
yeah. No, I think it'll be fine. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, I missed it. I didn't get the shot, but the diff said skedaddle and fell straight out. So
Mike's getting a big invoice for repairing my floor down there. Oh, Mike!
it's Connecticut cars, bro. I don't know what to tell you. So we've gotten the front portion of the motor mounts all cut and shortened. Everything's lined up, the gaps are nice, all the metal is clean, and we're setting up the MIG, and we're gonna get to welding. Great, we are done with the diff raise, or Marco is done with the diff raise.
was a team effort.
I didn't really do anything, but the front is raised about 1.75 inches, and it's all notched properly. We even took a hammer and made sure to bevel out in here, so that's good. And then this side over here, the mount got cut out. We raised it about, I'd say 1.25 inches.
yeah.
1.25 inches. Welded a plate in between the two, and then some little supports on the side here. So this thing ain't going anywhere. And tomorrow we are going to disconnect the struts, flip the thing upside down, and then we're gonna do the axle notch right here, and then this will be all set. I've been filming a lot. This video is going on 4 days now, so I'll just see you guys in the next section. All right, it's the next day. We're doing the notch now for the axles. And before we do that, I thought I would show this because it's pretty funny. The size the size difference between the stock strut and the Broadway static coilovers. Pretty extensive. I think it's like an 8.5 inch difference. So yeah, hopefully this thing goes as low as I want. I think 8.5 is more than enough. All right, looks like the notch is finished. What'd you think?
Wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
This whole process has been easier than I thought it would be.
It's been interesting at times, but a lot of stuff has been easier than we thought.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it because it's like kind of out of the norm for me.
Yeah.
Never done any of this stuff before. But I had an idea like in my head what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then it seemed to work. Basically what I did is I took a piece of 1 3/4 tubing that we use for like roll cages and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Drew a line, cut it in half, and then used each half to make each side of the notch.
Nice.
And then just kind of went from there.
Cool.
But it went really well.
For context, Marco makes really nice roll cages over at Titan Motorsports. They were actually the same guys that made the roll cage for Adam's GT3 RS, which came out so good. And every time that I go over to Titan, I always see Marco slaying it on the cages. And they look great. And so does this. Even though it was done with a little MIG welder, he was still able to make it look really nice, and it will get the job done. Basically, we put the axles in and flexed them so that we could see which direction they were traveling in. Yeah, exactly. So you can see just like that. And that gave us a point of where to mark and cut, and thing fit right in and followed her up. So
yep.
We are officially done with modifying the rear subframe. This was definitely an ordeal, but it was fun to be along for the process. It was pretty cool. And now it's time to slap it back in the car. And essentially, I mean, everything else is done. Should be, well, once I get my wheels, should be time to slam her down.
I think just to make sure.
Yeah.
Like before, like after we put it back in, before you get the wheels, hefty burnout.
Hefty burnout? Okay. All right. We can do that. All right. It is done. The subframe is back in all together. Ready to go. Half an exhaust. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Hopefully it just drives like stock, because we just put all the stock stuff back in.
That's why you gotta do a burnout. It's like a stress test.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I know you want me to do it, but I don't know if I want to jump straight into that.
It'll be like a loud V8 thing. And
maybe. But we're gonna drop this thing down and take it out for a spin, and if all goes well, then nothing will happen. Well, from the 10 feet that we've driven it so far, it feels just like it did before.
lavish.
That's a plus. All right. Little noise there, but I think that's just...
I think it's from the brakes.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Or it's the diff.
Maybe. It might be the diff bushing. It feels really smooth other than the little vibration there, but...
It's holding on throttle.
Yeah.
I don't feel it anymore.
Yeah, neither do I.
I think it rubbed its...
So the only part that was kind of sketch was the rubber, was it called a guibo?
Yeah.
The guibo section of the drive shaft where it meets the diff, it was really close to the chassis, so before we dropped the car down, we just kind of pried it apart. We pried the chassis apart from it. So we felt it a little bit, like I feel it there a tiny bit, but it's all rubber. So it's just gonna go away. I don't know. I'm happy that I got this car back though. And it drives normal, so I'm really pumped. I can't wait for this thing to be on coilovers and just dumped on the ground like it should be.
Yes.
I got my daily back.
Oh God, oh God.
All right, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a blast being able to watch the whole process. Marco, thank you so much, dude.
Yeah.
You absolutely killed it.
Thanks.
I'll leave his Instagram right here. Make sure to go follow, subscribe, notify, whatever you gotta do. Show the man some love. And hopefully soon my wheels will be coming in and my Serial 9 arms will be coming in, and then we can put the thing on the ground. And then
burnouts.
and then once it's on the ground, we can actually mob it around and just have an awesome time. Do a bunch of cool interior stuff, make the thing all VIP and everything. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.